Yo, what's going on today, guys? It is Sam, better known as Samito. Welcome back to the channel today for a video I think a lot of people have been waiting for, right? So I've done a lot of State of Overwatches over the years since, like, I think 2019, 2018 when Seagull first made his. I love the concept of that video because I like to give my honest thoughts on the game. And honestly, my outlook the last 3 years has been pretty negative for, obvious reasons, right? It seems like a lot of things were going wrong. You know, we weren't on schedule. The game wasn't that fun to play. We haven't had new content in 2+ years. But I'm happy to say today, my outlook on Overwatch 2 has flipped, and we are full positivity going forward. We see a lot of great things coming out from the leadership team. Obviously, I did participate in the Overwatch 2 closed alpha, and it was the best alpha I've ever played, right? You see a lot of the big issues being addressed by Jeff Goodman and his team in a lot of the right ways. So you just gotta give Blizzard credit. Again, I kind of talked about this last year when unfortunately we did lose Jeff Kaplan in the process, but I said it would take about a year turnover of a lot of new leadership like John Spector stepping in. A lot of these guys stepping in, the Microsoft potential acquisition coming in. It usually takes about a year to see that turnover. And here we are a year later on the dot, and the ball is rolling for Overwatch once again. I'm going to be talking about it today. If you're new to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate having you guys around. We're going hard starting today. Spread the word. Samito's back. We're positive. We're good to go. And we're going hard in Overwatch 2. So let's get right into the action here. Sam, what is it you want to talk about first? The number one thing I want to focus on is, aside from content coming back out again, is the hero philosophy and the design of characters. The big gripe that myself and a lot of the old Al pros that left the games like Valorant, that left the games like Warzone and Apex, right? The big gripe was that it seemed like heroes were rewarding you passively at their skill floor. For example, when Brig came out, that was our big concern, that, you know, if you reward a character so much at their skill floor and they're so good at denying value for the other team, you raise the skill floor of the game and lower the skill ceiling. And with any, not just game, any hobby, sport, competitive activity, you want the skill floor where the entry-level players are and the skill ceiling of the game to be as far apart as possible, because that allows players to learn and want to play more and want to grind and learn and continue the sense of progression as a player, because human beings love progression, the feeling that you've accomplished something one day at a time, little by little, you're getting better and better and better and better. That's how humanity has evolved altogether into the society we live in. Human beings love that, right? So if you throttle the growth and don't properly reward your players for learning grinding mechanics, you're wasting their most valuable thing as a consumer, and that is their time, right? You don't want to waste your consumers' time, because why would anyone put an effort into this game where they don't feel like they get rewarded appropriately, where there are bypasses to the skill to the reward curve, when the reward in the game is not proactive pop-off moments that defined Overwatch, and it's more so kind of sitting behind two barriers with Orisa and Sigma, Bat Brig, where like the immortality field's knocking out your big play, or they have 100% uptime on their high sustainabilities. But now, not only with 5v5, which I will get to in a minute, which is the biggest concern a lot of people had, but a lot of these characters have been changed to be proactive. Orisa has no shield anymore, right? You have to be proactive with throwing your javelin. That's the kind of Overwatch playmaking that made the game of the year, that got Jeff Kaplan and Jeff Goodman and Aaron Keller the esteem that they had, right? And it seems like Jeff Goodman and his team really took that to heart and put their heart and soul into this game. And when I was playing it, that's what it felt like. I felt like the soul of Overwatch was back. And I've been very hard on Jeff Goodman and Aaron Keller, right? I don't think there's been anyone more critical of them than me, because I want to be honest. I thought that we did a really bad job from 2018-ish when Break came out, even all the way to 2020 when we were releasing characters, and even, 2021 when there really wasn't anything. But you see it with Sojourn too. If you're bad, you're not going to get value. The game is not going to give you any handouts. And Overwatch giving players handouts was one of the things that made people just say, why is this worth playing? Number two, a lot of the characters, especially the original cast, Reinhardt, Genji, heroes that really struggled as time went on because better versions of them came out, are both flourishing in Overwatch 2. They were, at least Reinhardt more so than Genji, because Genji, his situation was a bit unique in that He just couldn't keep up with the AoE healing in the game in 6v6, but he is one of the biggest winners in 5v5, and he's actually pretty good now, as well as being fun to play. Reinhardt just was kind of stuck. He had no mobility for heroes like Hanzo, who got a leap to get away from him in Season 10. Echo being put in the game. Tracer, he's not really killable. But now he's got pin cancel, right? He's got 2 fire strikes. He has more health. He has the options to actually be a playmaker again. And that's what you love to see. So Overwatch is becoming about making plays like it used to be. The game we all fell in love with. The game that I chose to stick by for years because I love that moment, getting the play of the game, the pop-off moments, the progression, making you feel like you're climbing the ladder and doing things that are just so much fun. That's the game we love. That's the game I put hours and hours and hours and hours into, right? And it's back, boys. It's fucking back. Now let's talk about 5v5, right? Big shout out to Jeff Goodman and his team. It takes a lot to earn praise from me. I'm one of the more stubborn sons of guns in this community, but good on you guys. Y'all should be damn proud of yourselves. I didn't even talk about Tank Fist. Doomfist is going to function in a much more healthy way in the game. I think he's going to need tweaks. I'm a bit worried about multi-punch and the effects behind it, right? I'm worried that it might be too much, but we will see. But let's talk about 5v5, right? That's the big question. I was questioning it too, because people are like, well, what about tank synergy? What about all these things? I actually liked being in control as a tank player on my own. It felt good, right? And the game didn't feel watered down. They did a great job of, like, the game flow is much more fast-paced, which I think will attract a lot more generalist gamers to the game, because the reality is Overwatch is a very hard game, and the more we added to it, the more complicated it got, right? Like, we had to put in roll queue, and let's not talk about open queue versus roll queue, because roll queue solved more problems than it created. I think that's not up for discussion. Quick play got 10 times better. You could argue you miss comp diversity, but it's too hard to do. It's too hard to do, and it's not worth our time trying to balance open queue. I think roll queue is what the game needed. Shout out to the devs for that one. I'm a big roll queue advocate. So we were really concerned that 5v5 would water down the game, but the game flow actually feels better. And I realized while playing it that 5v5 really actually didn't matter. Right? It didn't matter, because what's more important than 5v5 is making sure the heroes actually reward you for being proactive rather than reactive, right? And the actual core design of how the heroes function in the game is it actually fun for a player to play. And whether you're in 6v6 or 5v5, the hero functionalities are way more important, right? So I actually didn't really mind 5v5. I think it makes the game simple, but it also maintained its depth, which I thought was really, really awesome. So I think as time goes on, we're going to see people really warm up to 5v5. So let's go big picture now. I approve of 5v5. I approve of the hero reworks. I'm still a little concerned. I think a lot of people are playing a mix of, like, Rush with, I think Moira maybe stop getting played. We'll have to wait and see about that. Or like Lucio Bap, or even I hope Brig Zen's not meta because the Brig changes. I think, you know, we'll have to wait and see, but it's very much so up in the air. I am worried about supports being bad. Support was easily the least fun role to play in the alpha, but I think that that's a good starting point, considering supports were the most broken role in the game in Overwatch 1, and supports were what ruined the game in Overwatch 1. Without a doubt, supports made the meta more than any other character. It's not really up for discussion, but that's the past. We're looking forward, right? So let's look forward. What does this mean for Sam? What are your predictions for Overwatch 2? Is the game going to be good or not? So, a couple things to talk about for one. The first thing is that, you know, people arguing whether or not people are going to come back. I've always said this, right? The argument should not be whether or not people are going to come back. The argument should be whether or not people are going to stay. Because Overwatch, everyone knows that everybody's going to come back for Overwatch 2. They're going to try the game. They're going to see how it goes. We'll see, right? I would say that if they continue on the path that they are now, they've got to, I see Overwatch 2 being dominant for about the same time as Overwatch 1, but the real turning point, in my opinion, and what I want to see from them is about year 1, year 2-ish. I'd like it to be about year 1. I really do think Overwatch needs to do a Battle Royale. If Overwatch does a Battle Royale after we get the original game in a good spot, we will be able to dominate the industry, right? We will be able to have a game format that attracts every type of gamer, and there's no other game that really does that right now, and that will be how Overwatch 2 can transcend and really redefine a sequel. That's how they do it, because there's no game out there that creates an ecosystem with it at the hub. it's the center, it's the core, right? Like, we take the fundamental principles of Overwatch and we apply it to every game genre instead of just one. That is how you redefine a sequel. You expand upon your platform to make the game way bigger than it was before, attract all different types of gamers, because we'd have PvE, that's good. We'd have a hero-based shooter mode that's good with comp and a real SR system, and we have a battle royale. We could do it better than Call of Duty could, and Call of Duty's the top 5 most successful game franchises of all time, and we got a real shot to do that here, folks. We really, really do. And I know a lot of people don't want me to talk about a BR. I'm not going to get into it too much, because we're going to talk about my experience in the alpha, but that's what I'd like to see. So I think if this game continues on the path it's on, we'll get a good 2 years out of this version of Overwatch for sure. But they'd have to keep updating the game the way they're doing, redesigning the characters now. We cannot repeat the same mistakes as Overwatch 1. And I think, to their credit, I do think that Jeff Goodman and his team have learned that lesson. Because it's a learning process for us all. Like, you know, they've never done like a hero-based shooter before. It was very hard to really learn what was fun and what wasn't. But I really hope that we see them continue to prioritize the consumer's time and effort and energy, and as long as they're able to do that, we'll be able to see Overwatch 2 succeed. So, you know, 5v5, I give it a thumbs up. I was terrified, but it's actually very good. You know, the hero reworks were very, very good. You see the original characters that people love to play, being able to thrive and have more solo options around the board, since healers were indirectly the biggest loser in 5v5, especially AoE healers. So basically, the game made what broke the game less optimal, right? When AoE healing is less optimal and single target healing can really thrive, Overwatch is just a better game when single target healers are good. It's just the truth. The game feels so much better, way less oppressive, way more proactive, a lot more decision making involved, and the skill ceiling and the skill floor are separated by a very, very wide margin, making it worth your time to grind the game. So, Sam, what's the verdict, man? I gave the alpha a 9 out of 10 in terms of alphas. I think it was very fun to play. I'm looking forward to this beta, folks. And I will say this right now, I do think it's worth coming back to Overwatch and trying out this beta and trying out the game and seeing how things go. I really, really do want to see a group queue. I think they need to do some kind of clan stacking. I think that's very, very important. If they do clan stacking and allow proper team play and put a battle pass in the game, boys, we're back on top of this industry. They should be proud of themselves. The future of Overwatch has a bright light at the end of the tunnel, and I think that this leadership team, big shout out to John Spector too. I think that he's been a very good addition to the leadership team. That man is sharp. I've heard nothing but good things about him. So shout out to him. He's doing the commercial stuff for Overwatch now. I think with that guy at the helm, you got a real damn shot. So I appreciate you guys. That's my honest review of the closed alpha and Overwatch's future. Kind of state of Overwatch, little bit of both. I'm gonna be talking way more in depth about the closed alpha on the podcast with SVB, Flats, and Frito from Your Overwatch on twitch.tv/SVB Overwatch. So head over there. It's April 22nd at 4 p.m. EST. If not, you'll be able to see the VOD on SVB's channel. Click on screen now to check out my Ultimate Doomfist guide for Overwatch 2 to get ready for that. And I will see you guys later. Peace out.